If you're like me, you know that half the fun of LEGO is simply taking things apart and creating your own builds with the bricks. And most of the time, this is a tedious but overall pretty easy task to do. But what happens when LEGO designs a set that uses building techniques that make it seemingly impossible to take apart? Well, that's exactly what happened with the recent LEGO Technic UCS AT-AT set. Now, what was the rare issue in this set, and what did LEGO do about this issue? Let's break it down brick by brick to get to the bottom of this controversy. Be sure to stick around as we will explore the problem, the controversial opinion of some fans, and LEGO's response to this issue. As always, if you enjoy this video, be sure to click like and subscribe and maybe ring that notification bell. It really helps out the channel and lets me continue making these videos for you guys. Alright, let's take a look at this set. The LEGO Technic UCS AT-AT is one of the most recent sets in the LEGO Star Wars Ultimate Collector's series. This absolute beast of a build comes with a staggering 6,750 pieces and 9 minifigures. It also stands at over 2 feet tall, so we're not talking about a small LEGO set here. The coolest thing about this set for me is the fact that unlike some other UCS sets, this AT-AT is actually built to minifigure scale. With ample seating for over 2 dozen stormtroopers, it's easy to imagine the scale of an attack of one of these things. It really puts the attack on Echo Base from Episode 5 into a whole new perspective. Like most other UCS and Star Wars sets, the UCS AT-AT incorporates a large number of Technic pieces. These really help to add to the set's sturdiness and give it some really unique articulation points with the head, knees, and feet all moving independently. This much movement with this kind of stability required the LEGO designers to come up with truly unique and impressive connections, but maybe not the most ideal. You see, not everyone was as happy with every aspect of the build, so what's the issue that got people so riled up? Let's take a look at the instructions. The issue people had came on step 130 during the assembly of the first leg. Some parts of the build look like they're impossible to actually take apart again. It starts with a simple Technic frame. These are amazing and versatile pieces that have made their way into an increasing number of sets since their release back in 2009, and they form the base of many other LEGO sets. Let's take a look at this step, which is part of the walker's legs. It says we're supposed to insert the orange pin into the center hole at the end. Next, we attach the axle connector. So far, so good. The real problem comes with what happens next. Moving to step 131, we're instructed to take a green pin connector and position it in the gap to the left side of the axle connector and then push the axle through it. If this seems weird to you, that's because it is. This assembly can't be taken apart by any normal means. As far as most builders could tell, there's only one way to get this thing back apart, and it's not a conventional technique in the slightest. The green pin connector has a tiny slit that's just large enough for the tip of a knife. It's just barely possible to use a sharp object to move the axle just enough out to get the grip on the end of it. However, it comes at the cost of damaging the piece, which shouldn't need to happen. This is extremely rare to see in officially released LEGO set. But wait, there's more. If we fast forward to step 713, another issue comes up. When attaching the body to the underframe, we're supposed to insert more Technic axles into the holes in the side. They actually can't be removed without putting this massive set on its side and shaking it and just hoping for the best. Well, now with that being addressed, let's discuss the reaction from LEGO fans after this set was discovered to be nearly impossible to take apart. This was one of the largest LEGO Star Wars sets ever, so when the first people started posting the instructions online, many builders were quick to point out this seemingly impossible to disassemble section. The reaction of fans was varied, but before we discuss that, let's talk about Crossout, today's sponsor. Crossout is an intuitive online action game that combines vehicle crafting and fast-paced PvP matches to create a fully interactive vehicle battle zone. The game includes hundreds of parts to build your vehicles, from strong armor plates to laser guns and rockets. Crossout promotes creative freedom for your custom in-game creations. In fact, you can craft a new vehicle in minutes, and whatever you build, you can now use in matches that take place in a rich post-apocalyptic setting. Just recently, Crossout released their supercharged update, introducing a massive overhaul with improved graphics, physics, and vehicle controls to make each match even more immersive. My favorite vehicle attachment by far is certainly the Buzzsaw. Not only does it look awesome, but it's also super powerful, so when you build your own vehicle, consider adding it. Crossout is available on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox right now, and by using my link, you will get a free bonus pack that includes special parts and unique paint, so you can immediately customize your vehicles. Get into the action by playing Crossout today. Now, back to the video. The reaction of fans was varied, with some showing outright anger as LEGO seemed to go against one of its core principles. I don't think there's a comment that sums up the frustration more than this one from a user on Brixset, in which this comment says, quote, "It's ridiculous that this design ever made it into a production set. So what if 99% of owners will never take it apart? The few that want to shouldn't need a tutorial. The point of LEGO is that you can build something, then take it apart and build something else." Bricky13 on Brixset proclaimed that, quote, "This is unacceptable in my eyes, and I hope that they pull this set from shelves and redesign it." Well, this might seem extreme, but technically it's not unprecedented. Back in 2015, LEGO released their WALL-E set, which was also a very highly anticipated set. While most people loved the look and idea of it, the head was actually prone to falling off and it had a bad joint. As a result, LEGO completely recalled that set and redesigned it before shipping out new batches. However, moving back to this AT-AT, most people actually seem to take a slightly more forgiving tone, like this user, who reasoned that, quote, "Nobody seems to bat an eye that a 7,000 piece model is tricky to put together, so why are we surprised and offended that it isn't straightforward to take apart again?" I think this is actually a pretty good take. These sets are massive and incredibly complicated. Honestly, if I'm spending that amount of time to put this together, I want to know that it won't just fall apart or completely get destroyed if something happens to it. Now, other users took a bit of a different approach, in which this user said, quote, "For the life of me, I'll never understand the uproar about this. Are you people really buying a $800 set to use for the parts?" Of course, I do understand where this user is coming from. While I personally would never disassemble this beauty of a set if I were to purchase it, I do understand those who want to have complete control over the things that they buy, especially at this price and with LEGO's principle of disassembly and creativity, and this kind of goes against it. There were some really funny comments as this event and controversy was kind of unfolding. Some people decided to find humor in the situation, like this user Nuche. Quote, "I wonder how long before adult-focused LEGO sets come with a tube of glue in the box. The Craggle maybe?" What do you think of this situation? Do you agree with any of these comments, or do you have your own take? Leave a comment and let me know your thoughts. Now, of course, how did LEGO respond to this issue? As a company, LEGO understands that they're nothing without their fans. As such, they're always very quick to respond to any potential issues or criticisms, which has really made them have such a great reputation. So when reports and complaints started coming in about this AT-AT set, LEGO actually very quickly released a response explaining the design philosophy, as well as a brief instructional video showing how to disassemble the tricky areas without the need for a knife or the risk of damaging your precious bricks. So what was LEGO's explanation for the design of these tricky builds? Here's the press release issued by LEGO. Quote, "All LEGO sets are designed to be rebuildable, including the LEGO Star Wars AT-AT. This set is a complex build intended for those aged 18+ and uses Technic pieces to secure elements of the set. Once assembled, these pieces can sometimes be more difficult to take apart, but it is still possible. In the case of the elements that attach the upper body to the lower part of the set, builders should be able to tap the side of the Technic rod until it starts to stick out, and then remove it using the LEGO tool which is provided in the set, or aka the brick separator. Alternatively, you can ease the model onto its side and the rods will come out. Regarding the pieces used to construct the legs, once assembled, the Technic rods can be removed by pushing the rod from one end and securing the end of it with your fingernail. Then you push back the cross-axle extender and keep repeating this movement until enough of the end protrudes out to be able to remove it. Okay, well, I mean, that seems like a reasonable take, a bit difficult, but I guess reasonable. Basically, LEGO's thought process was along the lines of what a few users were saying. This is a large and complicated build that was designed for adults, and that means that taking it apart will be just as hard as putting it together. In this case, though, it's actually slightly harder than putting it together, honestly. Either way, it's good to see that LEGO at least acknowledged that the disassembly process was perhaps a bit tricky and unintuitive. These kinds of mistakes can easily slip through into production. In fact, I've got a whole video series about LEGO sets that break the rules. I'll link the playlist to those videos in the description. Do you think that all LEGO sets should be able to be taken apart easily? And if you have this set, have you ever tried taking it apart? Let me know. As a reminder, don't forget to download Crossout on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox using my link to receive a free bonus pack with special parts and unique paint. Build your vehicle and play today. Thanks to Crossout for sponsoring this video.